and particularly for another series, another session in our series of Anatomy Focus. So today we're going to be looking at Baddha Konasana, a seated posture that is a deep hip opening posture. As always, we're going to be talking about some modifications, some cautionary advice, and understanding more about what is happening mechanically in the body so that we can adjust appropriately for our own practice. I think that's just really important, and it's one of it's the reason that this series inspired me to help myself, because I've learned a lot throughout the journey, but to of course help everyone else to accommodate and just to learn more. The more we know, the better we can appropriate these postures for our own practice. So today we're starting off in Sukhasana. So just find a comfortable seat. If you'd like to sit up on a blanket, we are going to be using a blanket a little bit later. So if you don't have one, bring it nearby, just so that we can bring that in as we move through. So find a seat. Let me just start my music over again. So we start at the beginning. And allow your sits bones to just really start to sink down into the mat, using the sits bones and the feet and the shins as our seat, as our grounding seat to start. Allow your eyes to close. Maybe your hands rest on the tops of your thighs. And if you want to feel more grounded, you can place those palms down, but if you'd like to let your fingers rise up and your palms be open, then you can feel ready to receive whatever the universe brings your way through this practice and through your day. Take a nice deep breath in, everyone. Let it rise up into your chest and open and expand, and then exhale. Let it out. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale. And one more time for good measure. Inhale. Exhale. Wonderful. And then just begin to let your body settle in. Meaning noticing whatever might be arising this morning. If there's any pain or soreness, anything that you're honoring or showing compassion to, continue to do that. Never pushing through, but just really finding the ways that you can support your body. The body is our earthly vehicle. It is our home. So we need to treat it with respect and love and kindness. Just take a minute and ease into your body, arrive in this space. Let all the other thoughts of the day just fade to the background. Just turn the volume down for a little while. We know they'll come back. Feel into your heart space as your chest rises. And see if you can identify the very center of your heart space. Now go a little deeper and identify the center of the center. Deep into the center of this heart space, imagine that there is a beautiful white flickering flame. Each time that you breathe, you're offering space and nourishment and oxygen to this flame. With each round of breath, the space begins to expand. As this flaming white area begins to grow, your heart also feels lighter in both color and weight. Allow that feeling of expansiveness to move to the very edges of your heart now. That area that's the size of your fist, beginning to touch into the lungs, pressing into the breastbone. And now, as your breath continues, the light can bleed into beyond the heart space and into your lungs and chest, and begin to spread like your rib cage all around the torso of your body. With this beautiful white, invigorating, and peaceful light within, maybe offer yourself a little smile. Smiling into this heart space, into the peace, and allow your entire body to relax down. Let's take 5 more breaths here. Letting the shoulders relax, keeping that little hint of a smile on the corners of your mouth. Say to yourself, I am grateful I'm here. I am grateful to be in this life. I am grateful for the love and peace in my heart. All right, take one more breath in. Exhale and relax. Open up your eyes. From this first seat of Sukhasana, I'd like you to actually change. We're going to stay in Sukhasana for a moment, but I'd like you to change and create the opposite leg on top. So just move the crisscross and change to the opposite leg. And then lift your arms up, reach them overhead. Lengthen through your spine. Lift your chin just slightly. Exhale, palms out. Bring the hands out to the side and behind your back. Interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades behind you. Open your chest. Again, lift your chin on the inhale. Exhale, come forward, letting your back slightly round. As your head comes forward, you lift your hands and press them behind you. See if you can lengthen through your neck, creating extra space between the tops of your ears and your shoulders. Inhale, come back up to the top, release your hands. Again, lift them up and overhead, and then bring them forward. Fingers reaching in forward space. Cross your right elbow over your left. Left forearm bends, and draw your straight right arm to the left side of your body. Just feeling a nice little stretch into the bicep. But relax that right shoulder down. There's always a tendency to pull that shoulder up into the neck. I want you to relax the right shoulder down and feel your shoulder blades slide down your back. Deep breath in. Exhale. Bring the arms forward once again. Let's take that to the other side. Left elbow over the right. And then draw the left arm across the body, relaxing the left shoulder down. Breathe here. Nice little stretch along the top of the bicep into the shoulder girdle. And then bring the hands forward in just a couple of rolls. Just do whatever feels organically good for you. Just get a little bit of motion into the shoulders. But as you do, press into the upper back, letting those back muscles get engaged too as they push the breastbone forward and allow the scapula to rotate smoothly up and down the back. All right, one more. Bring the hands down. Nice. All right, we're going to open the legs wide here into Upavista position, wide leg seated posture. So just open those legs wide, whatever wide means for you. Again, if you're sitting up on a blanket, that's always a nice option to have those sits bones on the blanket. Flex through the feet, so create some dorsiflexion in the ankles. And actually just flex and point a couple of times. Let's let those ankles loosen up after sitting in Sukhasana. All right, and then we're just going to loosely let the hands come to the tops of the shins. Inhale up, nice long straight back, and then exhale, just let your hands start to glide down your shins. And you may come forward just a few inches. That's okay. The hands may slide down to the ankles. That's okay too. If they come all the way to the feet easily without restriction, then you can take the big toe hold and just grab on from there. But any of those options are exactly what we're looking for. So I just like you to lengthen through the upper back and feel yourself sliding forward, and then notice that stretch that we're getting into the inner thighs. That's also going to be critical to the area that we're looking at today. So those inner thigh muscles, meaning the adductor muscles, and probably into the hamstrings as well. Just relax, take a couple more breaths here. One more deep breath. All right. Inhale and come on up to the top. Bring your legs forward into staff pose. So legs are now coming straight forward. Lift up nice and tall. Bring your hands on either side of your hips. Let the shoulders rotate back and down so that they're loose, but helping to engage the upper back muscles to create a beautiful posture here. Hands are relaxed. Your fingers may come down right next to your hips, or they might need to come forward. Or if you have really shorter torso than say I do, then you may want to put your hands on blocks. So we're creating an active posture here. Staff pose is an active posture. We are engaging through the tops of the thigh muscles, the quadriceps. We're dorsiflexing in the feet. Excuse me. Yes, we're pointing the toes up toward the ceiling. Lift in through the belly, pulling the navel to the back of the spine. Seems like such a simple one, doesn't it? But it can be very active. We're going to hold this for 5 breaths. So inhale. Release. Keep it going. Last one. Exhale, release. Let everything relax. Loosen it up. All right, one more little stretch here before we get into Baddha Konasana. Bending the right knee. Let's cross that right foot over the left and then slide the right foot back toward the left hip. So we're aiming to have the knees roughly pointing one on top of the other. You can bring a block or a blanket in between if you need a little support system there. It feels okay to let that knee drop down. This time we're actually just going to roll forward. So this one isn't a flat back. It's not an active pose. It's more of a release. And so just let your upper body gently come forward so that your heart is reaching towards your top knee. Notice where you feel the sensation here. Relax into your left leg. Feel that nice releasing stretch all the way down the IT band and maybe even all the way down into that left ankle. Breathe, let your shoulders relax. Let your torso be heavy. Back up to the top of your seat, straighten out the right leg, and we'll take the left leg across in the same manner. So if it doesn't come all the way back to the hip, it can come forward. Just find a place where you can sustain the posture and enjoy the release. This is a soft, very passive approach. Gently letting yourself come forward and down. Shoulders are drooping down toward the floor. How often do we get to droop, right? I don't tell you to droop very often, but let yourself just melt. How about that? Melt down. Try to relax that right leg a little bit more. Don't hold any tension in the ankle or the hip. Breathe. All right. Very nice. Let yourself come back up to the top. And here we are. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. I could turn around to face you, that might be a little easier. So in bound angle pose, anatomically speaking, we are externally rotating the hips and we are paying attention to the symmetrical alignment of the body. So when we think about starting off with our legs forward, and the bones of the femur are pointing straight down into the knee and right to the ankle, right? So we've got this nice alignment. As we externally rotate, the heads of the femur, that's what's pressing into the socket, the ball and socket joint, the heads of the femur. As we externally rotate, we are pointing the heads or the tops of those femur bones down and out. So a lot of times when we come into bound angle, the first thing we're thinking about is, I want to open my knees and press them down to the floor. But I'd like you, and you can just play along here with me, we can do this at the same time. I'd like you to think about how the tops of your femurs, the heads of the femurs, are rotating in the socket and pointing those heads out and then eventually down. Now it's important that we have a little bit of a pelvic tilt, which is why I encourage you to have a blanket and perhaps even put the edge of the sits bones on the edge of your blanket, creating a more of a pelvic tilt to start. This is a folded posture, so we do allow for the pelvic tilt in a folded posture. So once you've got that little pelvic tilt in place, I'm going to keep the alignment this way, I think. Once you've got that pelvic tilt in place so that you're rolling the top of the pelvis forward, then think about opening the thigh bones to the outside. Importantly, we want to maintain the alignment of the femur and the knee and the foot. Where we can get into trouble is when, sorry, I've got a crazy cat that's running around. Where we can get into trouble is when we try to press those knees down too far and then we torque the integrity of the connective tissue in the knee. We don't ever want to do that. So even if your thighs need to stay up higher and we're bringing some support mechanism in to hold them in place and still move into the posture, that's okay. Those knees don't need to press all the way out. By the same token, the feet can be as far forward or as far to the body as it feels appropriate for you. And you can explore this. As the feet are farther forward, there's less of a strain on the inner thigh, and there's also less of a chance of torquing the knees because the thighs aren't needing to open so wide. So you can play around with the position of your feet. In some cases, some days, for me, it feels really good to have a nice narrow diamond. And other days, the days when my hips are opening a little easier, then I can rotate those hips to the outside and still maintain the proper alignment from thigh bone to knee to the top of the ankle. So I just like you to think about that alignment. It's not rocket science, it's just a way of thinking about what your bones and the internal mechanism of your body is doing, rather than just thinking about, I need to open my knees and create this shape. That's the whole point of this series, is just for us all to think more about what's happening to the structure. So find your spot that you feel like suits you today. And then as you come into that, taking that little pelvic tilt, rotating the hips to the outside, we're gonna talk just a second about the feet. In some cases, the feet can open like a book. So what does that mean? That means that the ankles are rotating open. That means that the knees are coming open. That means that your hips are really open. So if those things aren't in place, we're not going to worry about opening those feet like a book. We're just going to bring the feet together, or we might even put a block in between so that the feet have something to press against. So just bringing the feet together, pressing the heels together is much more appropriate than pressing the toes and the balls of the feet. So maybe just your heels are pressing in toward each other. All right, we've sat here for a few minutes now. You may already be feeling it, but I just want you to think about how this is affecting your body, your lower back. Are you feeling any strain there? If so, then maybe pull back a little bit, lift up, take a breath, relax your shoulders. And if you'd like to begin to bring the heart forward toward the feet, you can come into the folded version, which eventually may or may not bring your heart down towards your feet. But what I'd like you to think about is that heart drawing forward, lengthening through the low back, Feeling the upper back muscles now begin to take a role as well. They are supporting the upper body. Internal thighs are starting to stretch, but they're stretching passively because what's working here are the contraction of the hips. So the contraction and the energy and the action is coming from the hip abductors, your glutes. The passive action is happening on the inner thighs. All right, let's come out of this. Come on up. Lift your knees. Maybe take your hands to the outside to that TFL, tensor fascial latte. Maybe rub, give it a little bit of stimulation. Hopefully that felt okay. All right. So that was our little lesson on Baddha Konasana for today. And I hope that that was helpful next time we take that posture in the middle of a flowing class. So let's come off of the blanket so we can move and groove a little bit. Hips are nice and open anyway. Come on to tabletop position. And starting off in tabletop, let's take a deep inhale and come to cow tilt, letting the pelvis rock backwards, heart reach forward. Exhale, take it into cat. Head drops down, press the back of your heart up to the sky. Inhale, move it through cow. Exhale, take it into cat. Couple more times through. And one more. All right, after your last cat stretch, come back to neutral tabletop position. Let's press up and back to downward facing dog. Letting those hips that we stretched lift high and press them up to the ceiling. Tip the pelvis toward the back, lengthen from the crown of your head all the way to the tailbone. Deep breath in, walk your feet up to the front of your mat, come to forward fold, Uttanasana. Slide the hands halfway up just below the knees, or your hands are on blocks. Lengthen your head forward. Draw the belly in. Find Ardha Uttanasana, nice strong flat back. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, lift up, reach those arms out to the side. Beautiful, reaching up, touch the sun. Exhale, hands down and forward fold once again. Step back with the left foot. Runner's lunge. Right arm comes out into a T off the shoulder. Lift it up, rotate the fingers up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring the hand down and underneath the right thigh. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, sweep it down. Inhale, lift it up. This time, exhale, right hand comes all the way down to the mat. Lower the left knee. Lift up for low crescent. Left hip flexor now stretching, arms reaching up. Open your heart. If you want to take a little back bend, press that chest forward. Let it release. Hands come forward and down. Straighten the right leg, press that right hip back and bow down in Konasana. Inhale, come forward, lift the left knee back up. Lift all the way up to high lunge. Staying on the ball of the left foot if you can, strong left leg. Exhale, hands come forward. Bring them to your blocks this time. Press your weight into the right foot. Let your left leg float up behind you, standing splits. Lengthen your head forward. Using that left gluteal muscle, holding strong. Left foot comes all the way down and forward fold. Inhale, rise to the top. Exhale, forward fold. Step back with the right foot, runner's lunge. Left arm comes out into a T. Rotate the pelvis, ribs, and shoulder up for the twist. Exhale, left hand down under the thigh. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. And this time, left hand comes all the way down to the mat. Lower the right knee. Next breath in lifts you with energy up to low crescent. Gentle fingers reaching toward the sky. Exhale, release into your back bend. The hands forward and down, back to the mat, and straighten the left leg. Konasana, half splits. Take one breath in and out here. Beautiful stretch back into that lower back, feels so good. Inhale, come forward, lift the right knee back up, and rise to the top, high lunge. Staying on that right toe, left foot nice and grounded, beautiful. Breathe. Hands come forward and down. Bring your hands to your blocks once again. Shift your weight forward into the left foot and let your right leg fly behind you. Use that right gluteal muscle, core body holding you strong. Right foot comes down next to the left and forward fold. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale and forward fold. Walk your feet back to downward facing dog. 1, 2, 3. Back we go. Hips rising high. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come forward. Knees down on the mat. Pivot on your right knee. Bring the right foot off the mat. Open up the side body to the left into stargazer pose. Lifting the fingers high. Rotate the left arm around once, twice, 3 times. Bring that left arm up and lift the left leg if you can, pressing through the heel. Strong core body. Beautiful. From stargazer, bring the left foot down. Cartwheel yourself up. Use your energy to lift all the way up, and right arm now reaches over your ear for gate pose. Bring it all the way back down. Both hands and knees on the mat. Come to tabletop position. Take 1 round of cat-cow. Exhale. Back to tabletop. Curl the toes, lift them up and back, downward facing dog. Full breath in and out. Exhale. Inhale, back to table position. Pivot on your left knee. Left foot comes off the mat. Plant the left hand down, open up the side body to the right, stargazer. Right fingers reaching up, and then rotate the right arm around nice and wide. 1 time up, another rotation. And last one. Inhaling as you bring that arm up, and then lift your right leg if you can. Press through that heel. See if you can really use that core, gluteal muscles working. Hello. Bring the right foot all the way down. Stay in this position and cartwheel yourself up. Come on your left knee and come into gate pose. Left arm now rotates around and over your head. Open the gate. Beautiful. Bring the arms and knees back down on the mat. Come back to tabletop position. And let's press back for 1 or 2 breaths in child's pose. Let your hips sink back to your heels. Reset the spine. As you're ready, come back up to table position. Lift the knees. Press back. Downward facing dog. Lift the lift the right leg up behind you. Split leg dog, right foot reaching up and back. Bend your right knee. Press your right foot over to the left side of your mat, opening that right hip, rotating it up to the sky. And then bring the pelvis back to neutral. Right foot comes forward into runner's lunge. Plant the left heel down. Pivot on your right foot, rotate around to wide leg forward fold, facing the left side of your mat. Inhale, come up to fingertips, inner thighs working here. Lift your arms, use that core, flat back, head forward. Exhale, hands down and fold. Inhale, come up to fingertips. Bring your hands to your waist. Hinge up, using that core strength. Strong back. Come to 5-point star. Deep breath, feet planted. Turn your right toes toward the front. Adjust your feet for warrior 2. So your left foot is at an angle, right knee is reaching over towards your right toes. Lift up through your spine, but relax those shoulders down. Left hand comes to your thigh, right arm reaches up and over. Exhale, back to warrior 2. One more time, lift up, stretch and reach, and back to warrior 2. Straighten the right leg. Allow your pelvis to rotate to the back as you create triangle. Opening up that left hip, reaching the right hand forward and then eventually down, and letting your left arm rise to top. Nice deep breath. One more. Inhale, come back up. Pivot your feet once again, coming to star position. Hands come back to your waist and fold forward. Let your head drop down. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Pivot, turn toward the front of your mat once again, coming back to downward facing dog. As your right leg slides all the way back. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself there. Come back to downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. 2 more. And in. Lift your left leg up. Split leg dog, left foot rising high. Bend the knee, let the foot drop down, and then rotate your hips open to the left side of your mat. pulling the pelvis toward the left, pushing the left foot toward the right side. Bring your pelvis back to neutral and then bring that left foot forward, lunge position. From the lunge, we're going to plant the right foot down, right heel comes down, lift up for warrior two. Hips open to the right side. Relax those shoulders again. Refine your pose. Enjoy your warrior today. Take the right hand to your thigh. Left arm reaches up and over. Exalted warrior. Exhale, back to warrior two. Inhale, exalted warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Allow the pelvis to roll to the side, pushing that right hip back rather. Reach out over your leg and then cascade down for triangle Trikonasana. Beautiful, breathe. Two more. And last breath here. Exhale. Lift all the way back up. This time we're going to pivot on that left foot, come to 5-point star. Hands are going to come to your waist, and we're going to fold forward with a flat back, coming to Prasarita, all the way down, fingers down to the mat. Fold and release. Inhale, come up to fingertips, lengthen strongly through your spine. Exhale and fold. Walk your hands around to the front, come to a lunge position, and then step your right foot forward. Fold forward in Uttanasana. Inhale, slowly rise, arms reach out, up and overhead. And then hands come to your heart. Bringing your grounded weight into the left foot, allow your right heel to lift up off of the mat. Find the lift through the core, especially the left hip, lifting up through that gluteus medius we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Lift your right foot up. Take your right hand to the inside of your right knee. Open the hip out to the side and guide your foot into your preferred position for tree pose. Perhaps it's above the knee, perhaps it's below, or you can keep the toes on the floor. Find your Drizdi. Find a place that you can bring your mindful concentration and focus to, and breathe. I'm grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for this life today. Inhale, bring your arms up over your head. Allow your branches to grow and spread, and then bring your right foot down. Let's fold forward one time, releasing the head, coming to Uttanasana. And then inhale, flow all the way back up. Bring hands to heart to start. Ground yourself in the right leg this time. Let your left heel lift. And before you lift that leg up, really support yourself through the lift in the upper outside hip. Then lift the left knee. Take your left hand to the inside of that knee. Encourage the hip to open. Guide your foot above or below your knee and find Vrksasana, standing tree pose. Breathe and find the peace within. that white light glowing still. Bathe in that light throughout your practice. Two more breaths. Last breath, allow the branches of your tree to grow, spread, widen, and reach for the sun. And then allow the left foot to come down to the floor. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, and forward fold. Walk your feet back to one more downward facing dog. Stretch and reach. And then come forward, knees down, press back to Balasana. Come on back up, swing your legs around. Roll it on down. Enjoying the fruits of our labor by finding rest and relaxation. Come down to your back. Bend your knees, hug them into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze, maybe rock back and forth. Place both feet down on the mat. Open your arms into a T off the shoulder. Scoop your hips a little bit to the right side of your mat and come into a supine twist, letting your knees and thighs relax on top of one another. Right shoulder stays planted down. Face upward with your gaze. Just release into your twist, relaxing into the hips, pelvis, and rib cage. If you would like to extend it up into the cervical spine, you can gently let your right ear release down toward the earth. Let everything go now. Body is passive. Mind is calm. And bring your head back to center if you had the head turned. We're going to take the left hand to the top of the right thigh. And you're just going to gently pull that thigh a little bit closer to your body. So we're just gently allowing the right leg to come forward toward your head. Just feeling a little extra stretch into the right gluteal and the outside of that hip. Just be gentle and soft. Breathe into the hips. Release it, come back to neutral, roll back to your back. And then we're going to scoot the hips to the other side. So just a couple or 3 inches off center, bringing the hips to the left. And then letting everything roll to the right side. If you feel more or less restricted depending on which side. I know I always do a lot more restriction on this side than I did the first side. So if you feel that way and you want to let the knees come a little bit further away from your head, you can lessen the intensity. Feel free to drop that left ear down toward the shoulder if you'd like, to extend the spinal twist all the way to the end. Back up to the center. Keep your body where it is, but take your right hand to the outside of your left hip or thigh and just gently draw that leg a little bit more. If that feels okay, if that's too much, respect and honor your body, but you can just give it a little extra stretch on the outside of that left hip. We did a lot of hip opening today, so I'm going to make sure we're giving some love to the outside of the hips. Glutes worked hard today too. And just release, gently roll to your back, creating a very neutral spine. Let your legs extend all the way down. And let us relax in Shavasana. Find a space in a supported position where you don't need to wiggle around or make any adjustments. Settle in. Bring yourself back to the idea that that light is still shining in your heart. Each intake of breath feeding the flame of positivity, peace, and love. Just noticing how it can expand beyond the heart, your body. That light can start to fill the area around your mat. A couple more breaths. The light can fill the room that you're in. Home is filled with this light, the light of benevolence, the light of peace, the light of compassion and love. Keep that light alive today and every day. Spread it with you wherever you may be. nice from wherever you went. As you're ready, bend your knees and just give yourself some organic stretching and moving to bring yourself back to your seat. As we all come back, we'll lift our arms up, reach them wide and high into this beautiful light-filled day, and find gratitude in our heart. The light in me is honored and grateful for the light emanating from you. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Om Shanti and Namaste. So much. Hope that felt good.